Here's a question most people in or near retirement have asked themselves at least once, usually late at night when everything is quiet and the worry is loudest. Do I actually have enough? Not enough to get by, not enough to survive, enough to live the retirement you spent 40 years working toward without spending the last decade of it terrified that the money is going to run out before you do. If you have ever asked yourself that question and not been completely sure of the answer, this video is going to give you the most honest answer you have probably ever heard on this topic, with real numbers, real math, and no sugarcoating. Let me start with the number most people use as their mental benchmark, because it is the one that comes up most often and the one that deserves the most honest examination. $1 million. For decades, it was the number financial advisors pointed to, the number retirement calculators defaulted to, the number that meant you had made it and could stop worrying. And the first thing I need to tell you is that $1 million in retirement savings in 2026 is not what $1 million was 10 or 15 years ago. And most people have not fully updated their thinking to reflect that reality. Here is the math that changes everything. $1 million at a 4% annual withdrawal rate produces $40,000 per year in retirement income. That is $3,300 per month before taxes. In most cities in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom, $3,300 per month is not a comfortable retirement. It is a careful one. It is a retirement where every unexpected expense, a car repair, a medical bill, a home maintenance issue, requires a real decision about what else gets cut that month. And that is before inflation grows your expenses by 4% every single year while your income stays relatively flat. Now here is the part that most retirement videos skip because it is uncomfortable to say out loud. The question is not whether $1 million is enough in the abstract. The question is whether it is enough for your specific life, your specific expenses, your specific health situation, and your specific vision of what retirement actually looks like for you. And the only way to answer that honestly is to run your own numbers with real data instead of comparing yourself to a benchmark that was never designed with your life in mind. These are the kinds of honest conversations about retirement you have been looking for and not finding. Subscribe to this channel right now. Every single week I post real retirement guidance built specifically for people over 60 who want straight answers, not generic advice designed for someone half their age. This channel was made for you. Subscribe now and stay for the number that actually matters, which is coming up in the next 2 minutes. So what is actually enough in 2026? Here is the framework that gives you a real answer for your specific situation. Start with your actual monthly expenses in retirement, not what you budget, what you actually spend. Pull 3 months of bank and credit card statements and average them. That number is your real baseline. Now add 15% to that number to account for healthcare cost inflation over the next 10 years, because healthcare grows at nearly double the rate of general inflation, and most people dramatically underestimate what it will cost them at 75 and 80 compared to what it costs them today. The number you have now is your realistic monthly retirement need in today's dollars. Take that monthly number, multiply it by 12 to get your annual need, and then divide it by 0.035. That gives you the total retirement savings you need to sustain that lifestyle for 30 or more years at a 3.5% withdrawal rate, which is the more conservative and more realistic target for someone retiring in 2026 compared to the traditional 4%. If your annual retirement need is $60,000, you need approximately $1.7 million. If it is $48,000, you need $1.37 million. If it is $36,000, you need just over $1 million. Write your number down. Then look honestly at what you have or what you are on track to have. The gap between those two numbers is the most important financial fact in your life right now. Here is what to do if your number is smaller than what that calculation says you need, because that is the reality for most people watching this, and pretending otherwise does not help anyone. The gap between where you are and where you need to be is not a verdict. It is a starting point that tells you exactly what to address. And there are 5 specific levers you can pull to close that gap, none of which require winning the lottery or making a dramatic life change overnight. The first lever is your withdrawal rate. If you are already retired and withdrawing at 4% or higher, reducing that rate even slightly in years when the market is down can extend the life of your portfolio by several years. The math on this is significant. Withdrawing 3.5% instead of 4% from a portfolio of $800,000 is a difference of $4,000 per year in withdrawals, which sounds small, but compounded over 15 years of market growth, It can mean the difference between your money lasting to age 88 versus age 82. The second lever is your spending in the early years of retirement, specifically the discretionary categories that are large and somewhat flexible. Housing is the most powerful one. For retirees in high cost areas, moving to a lower cost region, not across the world, just to a lower cost city or state, can reduce monthly expenses by $1,000 to $2,000 per month, while simultaneously freeing up home equity that can be reinvested to generate additional retirement income. That combination, lower expenses plus higher investable assets, is the most powerful single financial move available to most retirees, and it is dramatically underutilized. The third lever is part time income in the early years of retirement. This is not about going back to work full time. It is about the mathematical reality that earning even $1,500 to $2,000 per month from part time consulting, freelance work, or a small business in the first 5 to 10 years of retirement can dramatically reduce how much you are drawing from your savings during the years when your portfolio is most vulnerable to sequence of returns risk. Every dollar you earn from outside income in early retirement is a dollar your savings does not have to produce, and that preserved capital continues compounding for the years when you will truly need it. The fourth lever is optimizing your government benefits. For those in the United States, the difference between claiming Social Security at 62 versus waiting until 70 is approximately $1,800 per month in lifetime benefit, which is over $20,000 per year in guaranteed inflation adjusted income. For a couple where both spouses have work records, the cumulative difference in lifetime benefits from optimal claiming strategy versus early claiming can exceed $300,000. That is not a small optimization. It is potentially the most valuable financial decision a pre retiree can make, and most people make it based on a feeling rather than actual math. The fifth lever is your investment allocation, specifically whether your portfolio is structured to generate reliable income while also growing enough to outpace inflation over a long retirement. Most retirees either stay too aggressive, with too much in growth stocks that creates volatility they cannot emotionally or financially afford, or too conservative, with too much in cash and bonds that guarantees inflation will erode their purchasing power over time. The right balance for most retirees is somewhere between 40 and 60% in diversified equities, with the remainder in income generating assets that provide stability and cash flow. Getting this balance right is not a one time decision. It is something that needs to be reviewed and adjusted annually as your age, health, and market conditions change. So, back to the original question: do you have enough saved for retirement? The honest answer is that the number matters less than the plan built around it. People with less than you might expect retire comfortably because they built a specific, flexible plan that accounts for real costs and real risks. People with more than most people dream of run out of money because they never updated their plan after the day they stopped working. The difference is almost never the amount saved. It is almost always the presence or absence of an honest, specific, regularly reviewed strategy for making whatever you have last as long as you do. If this video helped you think about your retirement differently, I want to know. Drop a comment right now telling me the one retirement expense that worries you the most, whether it is healthcare, inflation, running out of savings, or something else entirely. I read every single comment, and your answers directly shape what I cover next on this channel. And if you are not subscribed yet, do it right now. New videos every single week built specifically for people over 60 who are serious about making their retirement last. Share this video with someone you care about who is asking themselves the same question, because this is exactly the conversation most people need to have and almost nobody is having honestly.